The rain had been falling for hours, turning the streets into glistening rivers under the dim glow of the streetlights. I stood at the window, watching droplets slide down the glass, each one a reflection of my thoughts, scattered, heavy, and unstoppable. For the last 7 years, I had built my life around one person, Daniel. He was my husband, my confidant, my anchor in a chaotic world. Or so I thought. Love makes you blind, they say, and I had been living proof of that cliché. I ignored the subtle signs, the late nights at work, the phone calls he'd answer in another room, the sudden guardedness when I asked simple questions. It wasn't until 3 weeks ago that my perfect little bubble burst. I had been cleaning the study when I found it. A small velvet box tucked between a stack of tax papers. My first thought was innocent. Maybe he was planning a surprise for our upcoming anniversary. But when I opened it, I found a gold bracelet engraved with the initials KL, not mine. The realization was a cold hand around my throat. I didn't confront him immediately. Instead, I watched. I listened. I dug deeper. My best friend, Claire, helped me, though not without hesitation. Claire had been in my life longer than Daniel had. She was practical, blunt, and fiercely protective of me. She didn't want to believe it either, but the evidence was undeniable. A few days later, I followed him. His late night at the office ended at a boutique hotel. I sat in my car across the street, hands gripping the steering wheel, and watched as he emerged with her, a tall, elegant woman with raven hair and a laugh that carried even through the pouring rain. Her name, I later learned, was Kendra Lawson. For 2 hours, I sat there, the rain masking the tears streaming down my face. The betrayal was sharp, but what cut deeper was the humiliation. Everyone who knew us thought we were the perfect couple. And maybe Daniel believed that too, in some twisted way. But here's the thing about betrayal. It doesn't just break you. It reshapes you. I wasn't going to scream or cry in front of him. I wasn't going to beg for answers. No, I was going to dismantle his life piece by piece, the way he had dismantled mine, quietly, precisely, without mercy. I started with his business. Daniel was a partner at a real estate firm, and I knew more about his accounts than he probably realized. Over the years, he had trusted me with small tasks, helping with paperwork, organizing client lists, and even managing a few transactions when he was out of town. I used that trust to my advantage. Claire and I compiled a dossier of every shady deal he had ever been a part of. There weren't many. Daniel liked to keep things clean on paper, but there were enough inconsistencies to raise eyebrows in the right places. I fed those documents anonymously to a journalist Claire knew from college. Then, I turned my attention to Kendra. She wasn't just a fling. She was an aspiring socialite with a reputation for dating men who could elevate her status. A few quiet messages to the right people, and whispers began to spread about her pattern of involvement with married men. It didn't take long before the invitations to high society events began to dry up for her. Meanwhile, I played the perfect wife at home. I cooked dinner, asked about his day, and even feigned interest in his stories. The whole time, I was chipping away at the foundation of his carefully curated image. The final blow came 6 weeks later. Daniel was in the middle of negotiating a major property deal, a deal that would have cemented his status in the firm. Unbeknownst to him, I had already informed the investors about the irregularities in his past transactions. They pulled out without warning, and the deal collapsed. I still remember the look on his face when he came home that night, drenched from the rain, his tie loosened, his eyes hollow. "Everything's falling apart," he muttered, almost to himself. I tilted my head, feigning concern. "I'm sure it'll work out, Daniel. It always does for you." 2 days later, I packed my bags. I didn't leave a note, just divorce papers sitting neatly on the kitchen counter. By the time he came home from work, I was gone. No trace, no explanation. I heard through mutual acquaintances that the firm eventually pushed him out. His reputation was too damaged, his finances crumbling. As for Kendra, she vanished from the scene entirely. Her once promising social climb abruptly halted. I never reached out. I never needed to. Sometimes revenge isn't about confrontation. Sometimes it's about leaving them to sit in the ruins they created, knowing you were the one who pulled the first brick. And that's the thing about silence. It can be the loudest weapon you have.